Guardians of the Galaxy is owned by Disney. So is Star Wars.
No.
Segue. The Book of Boba Fett. Is it Boba or Boba?
I think it was Boba.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
I've heard people like,
Boba
fight to the
Fett.
death over this. But
Maybe
Is it like a tomato situation?
tomato,
It's tomato.
It's a thing. Yeah.
Careful. We're
Is it?
gonna be careful. We're gonna have some Star Wars fans after us.
Oh yeah,
Bring it,
Well,
bring it.
Star Wars fans have evolved in recent years. It used to be like, we would fight Star Wars. We'd fight and defend Star Wars to the death.
Like physically as well, I think. Like physically
yeah,
fight.
with real lightsabers. And then it went to George Lucas raped my childhood, and now it's more like I feel like it's really uncool to like Star Wars now. Like
I guess so.
Yeah, ever since those new Disney movies, I feel like it's been until The Mandalorian came out. I feel like Mandalorian and maybe Rogue One, the very mature take on it has really kind of saved Star Wars a little bit. I love The Mandalorian. I love both seasons. It was great. Adrienne, what's your experience? Have you seen all The Mandalorian?
Yeah. I think I've pretty much seen every Star Wars thing ever at this point, except for maybe Clone Wars. But Mandalorian, I loved that one. That's my favorite in the entire Star Wars universe.
Wow.
I don't think anything's ever going to top it for me. I just thought from the get-go, I was invested. It reminded me of the first episode of Breaking Bad, where you're introduced and then by the end of the episode, you're screaming, standing up in your chair, being like, oh my God. I love The Mandalorian. I just thought, I don't know, I honestly couldn't fault it. I was invested from the get-go.
Yeah, the way they tackle the tone is very different to most of the movies. It's very
so different.
Feels like a Western. At first, like, especially the first half of the first season, it feels like an anthology, but as it goes on, especially towards the end of season 1, but throughout season 2, it really becomes more interconnected. And then I personally was, just like Marvel's What If did the same thing. They were separate stories, but when they all start coming together, you start appreciating that setup over time. Yeah,
it paints a really detailed picture. I think that's my favorite part about The Mandalorian is exploring in depth this character who, in retrospect of the entire universe, he's more like, I don't know, it's a more intimate storyline to follow, and it doesn't have to be huge and colossal to get me like as invested, and that's what I love about it. I think the most impressive thing about The Mandalorian, and we'll segue this into Boba Fett, but the thing I think is the most impressive is just the directors that get attached. Like every director for every episode is I think the least like famous director was probably Peyton Reed, and he's done like all the Ant-Man movies and stuff, and he's still a big name. Yeah. And I love when you can see like the little elements. Oh, maybe Carl Weathers, but he was famous for as an actor, but he directed a great episode last season. The reason I haven't brought up Jesse yet is Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've turned to the dark side a little bit. You're
the dark side.
You're not as into Star Wars as he used to be. Is that right?
When I was a kid, I was a huge fan. It's probably my most like favorite film franchise, like favorite thing. I had all the comic books, figures, movies, all the extra shit. And then the Disney movies just kind of killed it a bit for me. I'm just not gonna lie.
Did you watch all the Disney movies, or like when did they lose you?
Well, I watched The Force Awakens, and look, The Force Awakens, it has its problems, but it's okay. It's all right. And then I watched Last Jedi, and then I was like, I'm done with this.
I'm done.
I was actually, because I didn't want to see Last Jedi because I heard so many bad things about it, and Force Awakens gave me like a very like lukewarm feeling. Okay. And so I watched Last Jedi on a plane flight to London. Because I was bored.
And you watched it on a little screen.
And I was super. Well, I wasn't that keen to watch it, but I had 20 hours to kill. So I started watching it. I was with my mate, and I was just like turning him, just like, look what they've done to my boy. Like,
do you think if you went into the movie without hearing all that going into it, do you think you'd still have the same opinion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
think-
I'm sorry. I know people like
you're
it.
right, you're right.
I know people like it. It's just, I just don't like it. It's just my thing. I just don't like it. I forever loved the original trilogy. Original trilogies. I love Empire, Return of the Jedi, New Hope. Even the prequels, like they're not great, but I can still enjoy them, and I watched them when I was a kid. And but yeah, Disney's where I kind of cut the line. But I've heard everyone's telling me to watch Mandalorian. Like Matt, you've told me to watch Mandalorian.
You should watch it.
I know.
Did you watch Rogue One by any chance?
I thought Rogue One was all right. I didn't mind Rogue One.
I say to people, the closest thing Mandalorian is to it's Rogue One. Like it's a lot more serious.
Yeah.
It's still PG-13, but it's still gritty. It's more about war and stuff. It's a very different show, but it's
you see,
if you like Rogue One, you might like Mandalorian. I think.
I see exactly where you're coming from, but I did not like Rogue One at all. It's my least favorite.
Really?
Which is really interesting because I'm obsessed with Mandalorian. I actually, I don't know. I just didn't I didn't care. I didn't care who died. I didn't care what was going on. And that's really rare for me.
I think maybe one of the problems of Rogue One is the characters are going to die.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So the stakes, they're not all the way there. Jesse, did you end up I'm guessing you didn't see, oh God, what's it called? Rise of Skywalker? Skip that?
Yeah, no, I can't do it. I can't put myself through that. I'm like, I just don't want to do it. I mean, like the thing about, I think for me, my personal feeling is, to me, Rogue One felt like the most Star Wars out of all the Disney Star Wars movies. Like the new Disney movies just don't feel like Star Wars to me. It feels like someone that's trying to make a Star Wars movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, nah, I get that. Like the first one, obviously Force Awakens, you can't get around the fact that it is basically a retelling of the first one. It falls in this trap that a lot of, I think, films do this day when they try and revive a franchise based on nostalgia, which is like they try and do the same thing, but they just change it a little bit. It's like, oh, hey, can I copy your homework? Yeah, but change a few words so it looks like I didn't copy. Like,
do a backwards E so that no one knows. Like, yeah.
like Terminator did it twice where...
Oh, God. Let's not go into the Terminator franchise, please.
I got to bring this up because this pisses me off.
Yeah.
I think it was with Terminator Genesis, they're like,
God.
Skynet's defeated, but now there's a new Skynet called Genesis. And then when it came to Dark Fate, they're like, oh, well, we're not going to retread the same old stories. It's just a continuation from 2. And then one of the first new things they bring to it, they go, oh, there's no more Skynet, but now there's a new villain, and it's called...
Rec 9 or something, or something like that?
Some weird bullshit. And it's like, motherfucker, you're just copy and paste to Genesis. Like, it's the same shit. Like, don't act like it's brand new.
Okay, I got to admit something. I didn't mind Dark Fate. That's controversial saying. I thought it was okay. It was okay.
I can find...
No, Terminator fans are going to hate me because...
No, I'll defend you, bro.
It's only 1 and 2.
I didn't even see it, so...
There you go.
It was okay.
I think all of them have their bright sides. I don't think any of them are actively terrible. I just think they make some really...
interesting
bad
choices.
decisions. No, they're not even interesting. They're just bad at some points. Like,
I was trying to be
like
nice.
I think, yeah, like with slight spoilers for Terminator Dark Fate. If you haven't seen it by now, you're probably never going to watch it. They bring back Edward Furlong as John Connor in the opening scene using CGI and stuff, and they kill him like after 5 minutes of screen time.
What?
And it's like,
when
I saw him on screen, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be the best movie ever.
Yeah.
And then you kill, not only are you killing a child, but you kill like a nostalgic version of the child from one of the most iconic films of all time.
That's like...
And so you watch the rest of the movie, like, feeling like the movie's betrayed you a little bit.
Yeah.
And just don't have him in the movie, and I would have seen the rest in a better mood, you know?
It's like killing Elliot in a reboot of E.T. Like, what the hell? What?
And then the rest of the movie is like they have this new character and they're like, she's the new John Connor. And it's like, they don't even give her a chance to be a hero. So, yeah. And then, oh God, I could talk about this forever. But what's her name? The one who returned from Terminator 2.
Sarah
Connor. The chick who played Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
she's got a chip in her shoulder throughout the whole movie, so she's not
It's
even being
Linda Hamilton, I think her name.
That's it, Linda Hamilton. Yeah, she's like not being a charming, charismatic self because she spends half the movie pissed off, and it's just like, come on, man.
I thought she was pretty badass.
She was, but it wasn't the same to me. But
Well, I always really liked Sarah Connor because she's not like the typical like. She's sort of like a Ripley, like Ellen Ripley from Alien.
Yeah.
So
and she's great in the first two, I would say, but I don't know. Look, we haven't spoke about this trailer.
Look, we can talk about a whole episode of Star Wars. Really, man, we can get into it if you really want to, because I used to be a huge Star Wars fan. I already know what happens at the end of Mandalorian. I know what happens. I know what happens.
Well,
I spoiled that for myself.
That's okay. It was a big moment,
fine.
but watching this trailer, I'll just get into some quick thoughts. It kind of makes me feel like, can't they just call this Mandalorian Season 3? I mean, half the cast are returning.
Yeah.
Boba was in, I think, 2 or 3 episodes of Mandalorian Season 2, which was a huge, amazing, oh my god moment. Mm-hmm. But we've got, is it Michelle Yeoh, I think her name is?
Yes.
She's back as her character. I like how this is a bit more mafia, a little bit more underbelly. Even though Mandalorian was very underbelly of the gangster Star Wars world, this is even more of that, and even more on like the bad side. I'm still wondering how the hell they can do a season 3 without, what's his name, Baby Yoda, Grogu was it? I think.
We can still say Baby Yoda because it's adorable.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But look, I'm really excited to see this. It's giving me major Return of the Jedi vibes. It took me a second watching this to be like, oh, that's right. This is after Jedi, so that's why Jabba's not around. And seeing him, that guy on Jabba's throne, was pretty cool. Do you have any comments, thoughts, anything to add? Anyone else?
I'm excited. I think from the first frame, it did give me that Mandalorian confidence, and I think I'll get pretty hooked pretty easily, to be honest.
Actually, I heard the other day, Mandalorian Season 3 was delayed because they were using the same sets and stages as
that's hilarious.
Boba Fett.
And
Boba Fett ran over time due to COVID, so they had to delay Mandalorian Season 3 because of this show.
You think with Disney and all their money, they just could build another set like it.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's
sense.
I'm guessing those new green screen replacement LED things must be pretty expensive, but I'm sure Mickey Mouse has like 12 of them in his garage.
Yeah.
Loan out.
Yeah. Are you excited, Jesse?
Yeah, well, I gotta watch. I really do have to watch The Mandalorian. I have to give, Star Wars another shot. I mean, as I said, I was obsessed with it when I was a kid. And Tamura Morrison's playing Boba Fett. He played Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones, and he revoiced Boba Fett for the special edition original trilogy. And I don't mind his voice. Like, he's a good Boba Fett, Jango Fett. I like his voice. Like, the original voice of Boba Fett was good as well, but I like his voice and style. And it looked really, really good. And I gotta watch Mandalorian first. But yes, I'm gonna try and see it.